Chelsea at chamfersandstail.blogspot.com doing a leash review from TitanTuff, a new small company in California who is making some awesome heavy-duty leashes, and they have a special buckle feature. So I got this product to do a fair, honest review on. I'm not being compensated in any way except for having received the leash to review. And I got it in a 6-foot bright neon or blaze orange color. The product also comes in 4-foot lengths, great color selection, and some options for the snaps. I got the black. I know they do stainless steel. They might do trigger snaps and some other options. I like the black because it has the flat line. I know on the stainless steel, one of the pictures showed a ring connector to it, and I just didn't know how that would play into the stretching and wear of the stitching there. So the big feature of this leash is the special snap. On most hands-free leashes, you have a regular quick release buckle like this. These can and do break sometimes. I've had them come loose before. So when I was looking for a hands-free leash after like getting exhausted reading review after review of the various products, some of which are really good and great companies like Roughwear's leashes, I don't think you can go wrong with any of their products. But I still have a little bit of trust issues with plastic. So what I ended up doing was going to a tack store for horses, because if it holds up for horses, sure it's going to hold up to a dog. And I picked up a nylon horse tie down. They use these from the bridle to the chest plate of a horse. So I've never used them for that. I always use them for dog stuff. Metal snaps, fully adjustable. And then, as you saw, as I pulled it out, I have all the metal tucked in to this neoprene sleeve, padded sleeve that I made for it that goes behind my back and wraps mostly around my waist. And then I just either use a carabiner or put this through the leash loop. Love this. Probably will still use it for running and long line work because it is so comfortable. But I can definitely see myself using this as a backup hands-free for, general walks and whatnot. It is 1.5 inches wide, which makes it a little more comfortable around my waist than a typical 1 inch or 3/4 inch wide hands-free leash. And the biggie is this big thing. It's the special buckle with the 500-pound weight limit, and goes in like that. It's a hard plastic. I was wondering if it was metal or plastic. It is plastic, but it's heavy duty, and it has these nice little wings. You can do it one-handed if you're in a jam and needed to release it. It's nice. I also took it out on the dogs, and I might do a little short clip of it later. I was curious if this, because this is where it adjusts for the size of your waist or for the leash handle, if when the dog pulls it in this direction, if that would move at all. And it is moving a little bit now. I wasn't having any issues with it yesterday with Champ pulling. I'll probably do another test today and see. That was one of my concerns, because I would hate to be squeezed like a tube of toothpaste if they all of a sudden went after something. And Champ is a little leash reactive, so I do need things to not get super tight. Anyways, so I do really like this buckle. That is by far the best thing on this leash. I also like the label, nice rubber label. These both kind of play into the one downside of this leash, which is when you're making this your leash handle, it gets a little awkward. So you've got to, I hold my leashes like this. I know it's not like the super proper way to do it. I've never had an issue with it, so that's how I do it. You have to make it a little bigger. You have a little contention with the buckle otherwise. And maybe the rubber label makes it a little grippier. I will worry probably about this, how well it'll last if I always have to grip it there. If you like to hold your leashes like this with your hands and then looped over, or actually you wouldn't want to loop it like that. They usually go something like this way. It's going to be, again, a little more awkward than your more narrow leashes. Price you pay, I suppose, for having a more comfortable width band and this nice heavy-duty buckle. There is a traffic lead down here, so if you want to get a good grip, you can. So those are the things I like. I mentioned the color selection, awesome on that. I like having choices of hardware. 2 leash lengths. The 6-foot length, I am glad I got it. I almost went with the 4-foot, and I think that would have been a little too short. This will be good for a pretty all-around leash. Went with the blaze orange for visibility. So those are things I liked, things I didn't love. So I mentioned this is a newer company, so I'm being a little forgiving while they get the kinks worked out. I know they have a new sewing, or like a new sewing or serge machine. I don't know what it is. But right off the bat, I noticed that, and I'll warn you that I am a pretty picky person. I was raised like that, so right off the bat, I noticed that this wasn't cut straight, and when it was sewed on, it wasn't, you can see the inside piece is not lined up with the outside piece very well, and the cross stitch in there, the box, is offset, so the stitching right here is right towards the edge. You've got like one, oh, the focus on this isn't being very good today. You've got kind of like one column of webbing before you get to the first side stitch, and then on this side you have a good 6 or so, and it's about a 1/4 inch offset on this side. So when I buy leashes, I like to see things that are you know, everything's in line, everything's nice and even, symmetrical, and you can see that care was put into making sure it was a quality job. I think they still did a good job, but I would like to see that better in the future. The other thing is on the stitching, we'll see if it'll show. You can see the little stitches are kind of loose there. Honestly, I have horrible sewing skills, and I fight with my sewing machine all the time, so I understand. But I do think that if they're going to be selling these as heavy-duty leashes, stitching needs to be in place and secure, and not like that, because it happened right here too. You can see, well, I don't know if you can see. We'll see if I can do it like that. Yeah, you can kind of see the loops, how they're loose, and I can just foresee those snagging and causing an issue. And I don't like to see threads fraying. That goes to the integrity of the leash. I do like that they used box stitches here. I wouldn't mind seeing another like row of a line stitch right here and or here for added strength. But since it all does come up here, I mean, I guess you do have 2 different stitches. My other issue with this was also up here. I know it's going to be tricky to get this rubber thing on nice and straight because it is exactly the width of the leash. But again, you can see it's crooked, and things like that just kind of annoy me. Less important than what I will show you is that here the leash comes back, and this is how it attaches to the main buckle. And they only use 2 line stitches, one right here and one up here. They're pretty good, thick line stitches. Let's see if I can show you. They went over it probably 4 or 5 times, or that's just the way the machine did it. But I'm one of those people that like to see another one or even another box stitch so that it's like super secure. I mean, if you have a 500-pound weight limit on the buckle and you're putting the expense into that, I don't think an extra line or two of stitching would hurt and or add much to the cost of the product. And I think it would add to the integrity and strength of it. So those are my two gripes. Just mostly things not being lined up, the stitching being a little offset, and personally I would do more stitching. And then you can see like little snaggly loops. Overall, I like this leash. If I had to give it, say, stars out of 5, I'd probably go with a 4. Yeah, I would be deducting a star for the quality on the stitching and the lining up of the webbing and label. I'd give it the other 4 stars, though, for the awesome buckle, colors, options for lengths, and the traffic lead is handy. And great customer service. I think once they make more of these leashes and get kind of the groove of sewing, and I can sympathize with that, yeah. I think they'll get better with getting the threads worked out and getting these more in line. So I think it's a good leash. I'm excited to see more of what comes out of them. Yeah, the one thing that I can see me not choosing this leash off of my rack of leashes, which I haven't shown you guys lately, but I have the super strong and then a regular spin thrift leash, and those are the bungee leashes. And then I have a rock leash, that's the 6-foot one, a bunch of different nylon leashes, some paracord leashes that I've done, another like horse bungee trailer tie that I also use as a stretchy leash sometimes. And I think I have a couple more up there between like tabs and long lines, but I'm trying to think of any other like nicer store-bought leashes. Yeah, but anyways, going back to the bungees, when I'm running and walking, I found that the spin thrift ones are a little too stretchy for just like general walking, but I do like having a stretchy feature, especially like the rock leash stretches just enough to kind of absorb the shock if they like pull to the side all of a sudden or get distracted or by a smell. I think if there's any way to incorporate bungee into this, that would be amazing. Like, I don't know. But that would probably be one reason why I wouldn't reach for this off of the leash rack, if I just figured I'd want something with a little more give to it than just straight nylon. But that said, I do like this leash. I will be using this leash, and I'll give it another go, maybe film me using it a little later today while I work with some dogs. I think this buckle is going to be awesome. Thanks for watching. Bye.